crafty friends, it's Joy here with another lawn fawn video, and today I created a pull and slide surprise card using the Build a Drink margarita add-on. So here are the dies I've die cut from the pull and slide surprise. Then you have these two little pieces and we're going to adhere that to the back. I have die cut using the Gleeful Gradient 6x6 paper pad. So all of my patterned paper is from that paper pad. I'm going to use a little bit of liquid glue and we're going to adhere these to the sides on the back of our pull and slide surprise. This is going to give us just a little bit of room so when we pull the tab at the top that it slides freely. So it doesn't matter how thick the cardstock is. I just die cut it from the same patterned paper, but that's going to give us that little bit of space so it glides nicely. So now that that is adhered, my goodness, I can't talk today, I'm going to fold on the score line. So at the top, I'm going to fold it back towards myself. Then in the middle, I'm going to create a mountain and fold that away from myself and making sure that's nice and straight. And then that little bottom piece, I'm going to fold up again towards myself. Or if I flip it around, away from myself. That bottom tab, we're going to add some adhesive because that's going to adhere to our pull piece in the back. So I'm just going to get some double-sided tape and add that to that bottom piece. I'm just going to trim a little piece here. And then I'm going to add that at the bottom. This is a super simple, super easy interactive card to make. It's just not difficult at all. I feel like anybody can do this. And it's so darn cute when it's done. And when you pull it up, it is just so much fun. I just think this is such a fantastic interactive die. Okay, so now that I have that adhered down, I can remove the release paper. So let me do that really quick. And then we're going to line this piece up that I'm holding in my hand to the back. I'm going to call it the tab piece, the part that gets pulled up. And it's only going to be adhered by that bottom. So the notch at the top, I'm lining up with the pull tab at the top, making sure it's nice and straight on both sides. And then I'm going to hold that in place with my left hand and then slide that down with my right hand and then press that down really good at the bottom and look at how that slides. Now I have I've trimmed a piece of patterned paper slightly smaller than the dimensions of this. I'm adding liquid glue on those little extra pieces that we adhered down, those little extra strip pieces. And I'm going to adhere this to the back. And so when we pull the tab up, we have a fun colored cardstock. So now we have this fun yellow kind of polka dot, actually it's little yellow stars on the underneath the background. Then I'm adding 1mm foam adhesive and adhering that to a piece slightly bigger. And I did the pink patterned paper from the Gleeful Gradients patterned paper. And look at how easy that is. Then we have our little tab piece at the top. I die cut from white cardstock, just so you can see that there's a difference. It has a little arrow pointing up so your recipient knows where to pull. And it is so cute. I love all of these colors. Now here is the Build a Drink margarita add-on. So I'm going to add the drink, the liquid to the back. And that is from that patterned paper. It's a little bit of a gradient, which I thought was fun. And then I'm taking this die and lining it up where I want to cut the drink. And I'm going to just hold that in place and pull out the cup. Tape this in place, and then this is going to have our liquid line up more at the bottom. You have a little space at the top, if that makes sense. You'll see here in a second if I'm confusing you. And if I am, I'm so sorry. But now we have the liquid down in our drink. How cute is that? Then we have our lime. So I die cut the glass from Mermaid cardstock, and the lime is from cilantro and noble fir along with white cardstock. So the darkest green is noble fir and then the lighter green is cilantro. I'm going to add the little pieces in for our lime. I'm just going to lay this on top and pop those in place, and the ones that fell out I can just bring in and adhere down. I just added my little dots of glue. And now we have this darling little lime. Isn't it so, so cute? And then I'm going to take my scissors and cut a little slit into it so we can just slide it into our drink. And it looks like it's sitting on the edge. But before I do that, actually, I need to add the salt to the rim, and I die cut using that die from the Pixie Dust cardstock. So it's shimmery and shiny, it's glittery, so it looks like fun salt. Then I can add my lime, and I'm going to put this on here, and I do add a little dot of glue on the back so it'll stay on. Obviously, we don't want this falling off. But it looks like it's inside the glass as well, and I think that is so cute. Then I have the Fiesta banner border. I die cut from Licorice cardstock and then from the Gleeful Gradients patterned paper. I'm only going to add 4 because that's about as wide as we need it. Then I'm going to add this little strip that comes in the Pull and Slide Surprise die just to give that a little extra something at the bottom. Now for my sentiment, I am using the Summer Friends stamp set, and I'm going to cut this sentiment into 3s because it was just too long to fit on this little piece here. This is in the Pull and Slide Surprise, and the sentiment says, yay, it's summertime. So I cut it into 3 pieces. You can line it back up together and stamp it as one whole line. So it's really not a big deal. I'm making sure that it's straight. I'm centering it right in the middle. I am using jet black ink to stamp my sentiment. So I'm going to do that one first. Then I can line up my other 2. So the top is going to say yay, and the bottom is going to say time with an exclamation mark. So making sure that's centered and straight. Let's do the top here. And then again, I'm going to ink that up. I ink it up a couple times to make sure I get a nice, good, crisp sentiment image. Then I'm going to adhere that and stick that on the top part of the pull tab. Now, it sticks up a little bit, so you do have to, it's not difficult to slide it back down, but you just have to get it under that lip to slide it back down. I'm adding liquid glue at the bottom of my drink. I don't want to adhere it to the top because when we pull this up, we want the drink to stand up. I'm going to add this banner at the top, and I also created another banner off camera that we're going to add at the bottom. So I want the banner to float above the drink. So I'm adding 2 strips of acetate behind the drink. I'm just using some liquid glue to adhere that down, and then we can adhere that super cute Fiesta banner border to the acetate. Now I do adhere it a little high, and I just changed it off camera. I slid it down just a little bit. And then whatever is sticking out of the top of that acetate that's sticking out of the top, you can just trim that off. So there's those pieces right there. Let's add a little bit of liquid glue and place that on here. I'm going to do it from the front because that's easier to see. And then you have this fun banner floating above your drink, like it's hanging above your drink. And I just think it's so cute. I'm going to add the second banner down here at the bottom, but I need to pop it up with foam adhesive. And I'm only going to put that in 2 spots on the outer edges. So that way when we push the tab piece back down and the front of the card goes flat, it will slide right underneath the banner, but it also fills up that open space down there. And I just think that turned out really, really cute. And I'm, of course, am going to trim the excess off of that. And then I also I will adhere this background piece to a white piece of A2 size cardstock. You can put this on a card panel. I am not going to do that. I am just going to adhere it to a white cardstock piece panel, and you can write on the back of that to your recipient. So I slid that up a little bit, trimming that off, and that's when I also realized I'm going to slide down that top one just a little bit, but like I said, I just did that off camera. I pulled it off gently. The glue hadn't completely dried, and here it is finished. How cute is that? Let's pull this up. Yay, it's summertime, and we have this super cute drink and those darling banners, and of course that pattern paper is so fun and bright and just, it feels like summer for sure. How cute is that? And then you just slide that back down inside, and you have your nice flat card. Thank you guys so very much for stopping by and watching. I hope that you enjoyed this project. I hope you feel inspired, and I hope you have an amazing day.